He's 13 years old, but dresses like he's from the 1920s. I met him on the streets of New York, and somehow that led me inside his world. If you don't know me, I'm AJ. I ask strangers to show me their favorite 5 pieces and the stories behind them. This is the 5-piece series, and today we start in Brooklyn. Today we're stepping inside a closet of New York's most stylish young man. Let's see what he's been hiding. Would you take me to your house to show me your favorite 5 fashion pieces?
Of course, I'd be honored to.
With such an amazing style like that, I'm curious to see what we will see in your closet.
A lot of hats. I have some great Hamburg hats that I'd love to share.
Okay.
And perhaps some nice 1940s suits.
What city you think has the best style?
Milan or London.
Why both of those?
Well, Milan has had an amazing history with hat making, and London because of Savile Row.
You're really a hat guy.
Very
Okay, fair enough. Those 2 cities before New York?
I think so, although New York is a very close third.
I love the honesty, man. See y'all when we get to his closet. He's into the 1920s, 1930s. I spoke with his mom. His mom gave us the go. His mom says he's excited for this, so you have to drive 2 hours. But I think it's worth the drive.
Oh, welcome in.
What's up, Gilbert?
This is Gillette, my mom.
Oh, hi, Mom.
So good to meet you.
So good to meet you, too.
coming.
Of course.
This is the living room. My parents are antique dealers, so most everything in here, except for the art, is vintage or antique, and that can be said for almost the whole house. The kitchen. Oh, can I offer y'all a drink?
Thank you. I'm actually fasting right now, so
Lovely.
yeah.
A lot of just little wooden oddities.
I love these miniature chairs.
Aren't they just wonderful? And may I take y'all upstairs?
Of course.
This is my bedroom, where the hat collection is, and I tried to neaten it up a little bit.
Gilbert's got a better collection of hats than me, man. I gotta step up my game. This is where you get down and dirty, huh?
Yes, I'm currently sewing 2 new dress shirts out of these lovely cotton fabrics I found. And they're gonna have French cuffs. And I actually just started making these, so they're very much a work in progress, but
Are you doing that for yourself?
yes, I'm making them for myself just because I need more shirts that can take detachable collars.
Isn't today Thursday? You ain't go to school today?
I'm homeschooled, so no, my brother is in school.
You like the homeschool?
I love homeschooling. It's absolutely amazing.
I think you'll be too smart for them kids.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I have my strong suits, and then there's math.
Wait, so you're not the best at math?
Oh, I'm terrible at math. It's probably my weakest subject.
Okay. What would be your favorite subject?
History, definitely.
Explain to us what you have in your wall there.
I mean, I have a few old prints, some lovely British military prints, an old watercolor of the Opium War between China and England, a few little silhouette paintings. This one's from the 1820s, and actually has an advertisement on the back of it for the person who is doing these. I believe it cost, well, it did cost in 1822. It looks like 2 shillings. That was a lot of money back then. It was, for a portrait like this, it would be about in 1823, what? $50?
Okay.
Which was a bit of money for a painting.
So you are somewhat good at math.
Well, no, just historical currency I'm also
Okay.
quite enamored with. Ooh, but another fun little thing is this. It might look like a Havana cigar, but it's actually a 1910s men's fan. And so in the 1910s, carrying a fan was considered not like manly enough, which is silly because getting heat stroke is, I'd say, not worth looking all posh and 1910s. So they'd carry them in hidden cigars. They'd carry fans in hidden cigars. This is a collection of my antique trench arts. These are all World War I artillery shells that were turned into these souvenirs. This one is the most interesting. Was made in 1918 and is AEF Argonne 1918. And Argonne was the final offensive of World War I in 1918. And AEF is the American Expeditionary Force. And then I have poppies in it to remember the World War I soldiers.
So the hats. What's the story behind your hats?
Well, it actually started when I was about 6 years old, and I got a vintage tuxedo, and I thought, well, I need a top hat to match it. And so I hunted around antique stores and antique shows for about a year until I found a very beat up old collapsible top hat, which I still have. And I did a lot of repair work. It was basically in 2 pieces when I got it. And it's too small for me now, but this was a staple of my wardrobe for about 2 years. And then I just was like, I need to wear more hats. There was no stopping at that point. This is one of the more rare pieces in my collection. Early 1900s Yetto straw boater hat.
Throw that on. That looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Ooh.
I don't get to wear it much because it's...
Ooh.
But when I do, I wear it. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
This man got swag. Talk about your haircut, man. You got such an amazing haircut.
Thank you. I actually got this about 5 days ago from Persons of Interest Barbershop.
And it looks fresh.
Thank you. I absolutely love their barbershop. It's the best.
Okay. So you started off with a collapsible hat and you
Yes.
just kept going.
I couldn't be stopped at that point. I felt just so compelled to keep collecting them. One of my other earlier hats would be this, which was my first ever Homburg hat, probably from the 30s. It's made by Knox, and I adore it. Probably the rarest item in all of my hat collection would be right over here. And it's this 1860s silk plush top hat. It's got beautiful silk on the inside, and I can tell it's 1860s because it's got a very unique crown to brim ratio that you wouldn't see on, say, an 1880s top hat. And the silk plush these are made of, which gives them their kind of signature shine, is actually no longer produced after the 2 brothers who owned the last factory that made it burned it down for insurance money.
Wow.
So people are trying to figure out the formula, but it's currently kind of lost. So that's probably the rarest item in my collection.
Okay. Is this a hat too?
Yes, this is a hat. This is a old Masonic Lodge hat, and it would have had insignia on the side for the Masonic Lodge, but sadly when I purchased that, it was not intact. And it's a very fun one because it looks like the nautical bicorns of the period, but it's obviously got a very interesting history. Real ostrich feathers too.
Very interesting hat.
Thank you.
Were you always into like this style of dressing?
Well, there have been periods where I dress differently, but at this point, this is how I think I'll dress for the rest of my life. I don't think there's any turning back. This is just, the way I dress now brings me so much joy, I cannot imagine turning back.
Listen, we got a passionate guy over here.
Thank you.
You're very passionate. I love that.
Oh, I'm obsessed.
How long you been doing this for?
Well, if I'm 13 now, well, 14 I suppose, then I think about 7 years? Well, no, now it would be 8, because I started when I was 6.
Wow.
And I've been dressing differently since forever. Since I started dressing myself when I was like 3, I would put on the most vibrant and interesting clothes I could find.
All right, so before we get into your favorite 5 pieces, what's your fashion take?
My fashion take would have to be that fast fashion is ruining classic style and to some extent the environment, and it has to be stopped at all costs. I've kind of made it my mission. I only wear wool, I only wear cotton and linen, I avoid synthetics, and I only really dress vintage, mostly for my own style, but also because I think it's an important message that the environment needs kind of to be saved at this point.
Gilbert is saving the world one man at a time, man. So now show me your favorite 5 pieces.
All right, so my first favorite piece would be this Yetto straw boater hat, which, even though it's not quite as wild as some of the other hats, is a staple of my collection, and it's so lightweight and breathable. It's just fantastic. is only made in Switzerland. And so it's quite rare to find a yellow straw hat in this condition. And so that would be my first piece. My second piece would have to be the hat I made. I adore this hat. My third favorite fashion item is a little bit less of a piece of clothing, but it's one of my favorite walking canes. It actually has a bit of a secret. It's an antique sword cane that I found at the Brimfield Flea Market.
Wow.
And it's probably from the 1910s, made for a British East India Company officer or just a British Army officer. And this was very popular style at the period. It was used as a swagger stick or as a dueling cane. Yes, I'm a little bit obsessed with walking canes as well. My fourth piece would be this Stetson cowboy hat, beaver fur, and it's kind of my everyday hat when I'm anywhere in Texas. My family travels to Texas twice a year. I just can't help but love the open crown. My final piece would be my detachable collar collection. I'm rather obsessed with them at this point. This is actually my first detachable collar. I've been wearing it since I was maybe 8. Detachable cuffs, which were invented a little after detachable collars. These are fun because they are worn as French cuffs on a shirt. A little harder to style in the modern day, but an awesome piece to find.
Nah, these is fire.
Isn't the pattern just gorgeous? So it would be worn under a jacket, and it would be worn with a specialty shirt.
And you have one of them on, right?
Yes. These ones are interesting because they are celluloid coated. What that means is this shine they have is from celluloid, which is highly flammable, which is why I don't wear any of these. If they rub together for too long, they will start a small fire. They're quite dangerous. There were instances of people's cuffs lighting on fire in the 1800s. And so those are a piece of history that I will never wear for my own safety. So the shirt that you need to wear the detachable collars is another passion of mine. This is a antique, maybe 1910s one. And you can see that the collar just has 3 buttonholes. And that is that a detachable collar like this one can just easily button on with these little buttons on it. And those just slide into the buttonholes and the collar will stay on. Obviously, it's a little more difficult when it's not something I'm wearing, but it's a very simple process, and it was very money-saving at the time. To do laundry was extremely hard to come by for people who weren't quite wealthy. So, by just washing the collar or cuffs of a shirt, you could save a lot of money on laundering and still look and be just as clean. And if you only had a few shirts, there was an accessory for that as well, which is the detachable bib. This is another 1890s one, and this would be worn attached to the detachable collar to make it look like you were wearing a pleated evening shirt instead of a day shirt. It has loops for the suspenders and a little button for the collar. Very practical, especially at the time. Plus, it's got these lovely little button holes where you can put shirt studs. I think is very charming.
Do you collect buttons?
I do not, but I do have a bunch of buttons for any sewing project I embark on. I'd say it's a good policy to keep around extra buttons, because on vintage clothing, they do fall off.
Are these like hats?
They're pith helmets, really. That's the name. And the popular way to wear them was you'd soak them in cold water so that they'd stay cool on your head.
Throw it on, let me see how it looks. Yo, chat, he might have just put me on. I might gotta grab me one of these right here. I need to add this to my hat collection.
And that was my 5 favorite pieces from my vintage fashion collection.
Thank you so much for subscribing. Without you guys, I would have definitely not gotten this. This is the People's Channel.